You've teased this a couple times now. It's the
Yeah.
ESPN blunder related to Lamar versus Josh. Can you please elaborate?
Yeah, so I didn't even catch this myself. We have gotten emails on it early last week. The chat was like, please talk about it. I've been tagged on it on Twitter. Like, I can't tell you how many people were asking us to cover this. And I think after the Ravens' first wave of free agency, we found time to do that. And this is kind of wild. It's kind of wild. So when Josh Allen and the Bills reached their new deal, his new extension, he got a 6-year, $330 million deal. ESPN put an article up about it. I was getting $250 million guaranteed. It's the largest guaranteed total ever to an NFL player. And then they start to get into Allen's stats to kind of like show why he's deserving of this extension. And he absolutely is deserving of this extension. And so ESPN says here the NFL's MVP for 2024 became the first player in NFL history to record at least 25 touchdown passes, 10 touchdown runs, and fewer than 10 touchdowns or 10 interceptions in a season. Those are always one of those stats that it's like, this is lame. Like, you had to find a category here, a category there, a category there, and kind of put it all together. But nonetheless, I'm sure it is good. And then it says he finished with 28 touchdown passes, 12 rushing touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Obviously, everybody here in Baltimore knows all those numbers pale in comparison to what Lamar did, as you can see on the right. We've got the two final numbers side by side, and Lamar clearly had the better statistical season, and we can say that he was better on tape and all that other stuff, but we won't go there. Then this paragraph, the one that's highlighted in a red box, Bobby, this is the blunder. It says his, meaning Allen's, 119.6 passer rating was the 4th highest in NFL history and trailed only Aaron Rodgers and Manning, because Aaron Rodgers had 2 different ones, and then Manning had another one. So it only trailed those 3 seasons, but only 2 quarterbacks. And then it said Rodgers and Manning won MVP in those seasons. You don't say they won MVP in those seasons, because you know why? If you have about 120 passer rating, you should be the MVP unless somebody beats you. But Bobby, ESPN's blunder, those stats are Lamar's.
Yeah.
Those are Lamar's.
Like, the passer rating is a metric that we were following and monitoring for like weeks down the stretch when it was clear that he had a chance.
Right.
He had a chance to chase after Rodgers.
Like, he had a chance of being number 1.
Yeah.
And then just kind of and the numbers are like barely, like Lamar's 119.6, the other is 122.5, 121.1, and then 121.1 again, or 121.5. And so it's like Rodgers and Manning won MVP in those seasons. Oh, you don't say.
Right.
The only problem is that's not for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's passer rating was 101.4. And Bobby, there were like, this is what's hilarious, is there were tweets and images and memes. Like, it was talked about for the last month of the season ad nauseum, his passer rating, because he was leading everybody with just a few weeks left. And look at this. Like, here's one from CBS. I could have grabbed one for NFL from NFL Network or ESPN or whatever. Everybody was enamored at his passer rating, especially for a guy who everybody kept calling a running back. And so the passer rating, when they calculate it, it doesn't have any of his rushing numbers. QBR does. So if Lamar was like number 4 in history for QBR, it's like, oh, it makes sense because he's a dual threat quarterback. But this is only considering what he's doing with his arm. Only doing what he was doing with his arm. So ESPN did later correct it. They did correct it. I think it took a few Ravens fans calling him out for them to notice this. I personally, some people want to attribute like malice that they're trying to do Lamar bad. I will attribute it to a really bad mistake. Worse than a little grammar error, obviously. Taking a whole stat line is kind of crazy. And I want to attribute it to just an honest mistake, because that's wild.
But there is some irony there in that last sentence, right?
There's such irony.
Oh man, you're not kidding. There was a countless amount of these graphics. So yeah, an oversight, but one that was An undeniable oversight. Let's call it that.
Indeed. And so we talk more about Lamar and some weird coverage, right? So we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday with Ing and Ingraven. Team Keep It Clean was on our show yesterday. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. We pulled it out as a segment of its own. But we talked about how Lamar was trolling, right? That out of nowhere, with no context whatsoever, he puts up that meme of LeBron James where he acts scared, ooh, and then kind of laughs in your face. And he leaves that up for an hour with no context. And everybody's like, what is this all about? What's going on? Da, 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 da. And a lot of people were like, well, the Bengals just signed their wide receivers, which we just talked about in the first segment. Maybe he's like, I'm not afraid of like, you and your signings and this and that. And about an hour later, he posts this. He says, I'm gonna just post this random GIF on Twitter. I guarantee my followers gonna create a narrative. Okay. And Bobby, 24 hours, all I did was Google Lamar Jackson. Look at the stories that come up. Do it right now. Anybody that's watching, especially if you're watching live. This morning, I Googled Lamar Jackson. And these are the top 3 stories that came up. Lamar Jackson reminds Bengals who's boss. Did Lamar Jackson just take a shot at Bengals after Cincy wide receivers moves? Lamar Jackson mocks Bengals after Jamar Chase and T. Higgins huge contracts.
One simple GIF.
And like I said to Ing yesterday, it's cool if you're speculating. Like, what could he mean? And you're in Twitter and you're like having fun with it and whatnot. But to just run with the headlines is also wild.
Well,
to have these 2 back-to-back, the ESPN Blunder and then these headlines, it's crazy.
Here's what's funny about it. The news cycle's already reset. Because if you were to Google Lamar Jackson now,
something
you'll
different.
see this, which just came in right before we went live. I threw it in last minute.
Okay.
Lamar is making his acting debut in Power Book the Third, Raising Kanan. He's fired up about it. He posted it just within the last hour or so. And I'll read from this people entertainment piece right here.
Oh yeah, I didn't even hear about this. Let's hear it.
I know. The NFL MVP tells people he's thrilled. And by the way, they're still calling him NFL MVP too here in the byline.
Well,
to be joining Raising Kanan and teases his deadly and dangerous character. In a statement, the 2024 NFL MVP tells people, I'm so excited for fans to see me in this new role and thrilled to be a part of it. He teases that E-Tone, that's his character, is a deadly, dangerous character, and you don't want to get on his bad side. So Lamar has gone Hollywood, folks, in other words, and he's making his acting debut. Chat, how do you feel about it?
Oh my gosh. First of all, chat's asking me if I watch it. I do not, but I guarantee you now that Lamar's on there, I will be jumping in.
You already know I don't, but we're going to have to jump on together. Because
but I also watch I don't get a lot of time for TV. I'm more of a podcast person. What do you know? We have a podcast. Cameron's laughing that was even a question for me. So
yeah.
Yeah. But I love that picture that they got of him right there on the right.
Oh, he looks all
that's
blinged out.
AI, right? Like that's him acting?
Oh, yeah. But he
On
looks
set.
like he's got makeup on. I'm sure there's everything they do to have these actors and actresses look. I mean, Lamar looks sharp. Look at him.
Dude, he looks tough.
Right? Well, that's what apparently his character is going to be perceived as. More
dangerous
from people
and
here.
Deadly, huh?
How about it? While his role in the story is unclear, based on People's exclusive first look photos, he'll be involved somehow with Unique, aka Joey Bad Arse, who's on a warpath of sorts this season after a surprise resurrection in the season 3 finale. So, Sarah, he's making his acting debut. I did not have that on my bingo card for Lamar's offseason.
I did not. But hey, branch out, do your thing. And everybody's telling me that this show will not be something that I can watch. So here's my question, Bobby, though. It's probably not surprising. I have bought and paid for monthly the app called VidAngel. Has anybody heard of that?
Yep.
Can I get this on VidAngel? I'm going to have to look into this.
Chat.
And I also have to tell you that some stuff just doesn't work for VidAngel because you literally can't follow the plot that they have to cut so much out. I'm like, I don't even understand what's going on here. Let me go to a different show.
Here's the Instagram post right here. I'm so excited for fans to see me in this new role and thrilled to be a part of Power Book the Third. I already read these quotes, but he just posted it on his Instagram page. My favorite part is when you pull it up. Yeah, look at the comment section. Our guy Gal, he says throwing bullets on and off the field. Good S8. Tyus Bowser giving him love. Zach Orr says it's fire. Our guy Alex from Twitter.
That's awesome.
Who's this? This is Pepe Williams. Everybody thinks it's hilarious. The King, Devontae's chiming in. I mean, you start scrolling. That's always my favorite part of Lamar's posts. The people that chime in the peanut gallery.
Yeah. What's crazy, Bobby, is because Lamar's so low key, right? Every time he's doing an interview or whatnot, he's trying to be low key. And so you don't get to see his personality very often because it's like he's locked in. He's funny though. Like I definitely get that from him frequently. But like he's never struck me as like an actor, right? Because he tries to keep things so low key. But this will be fun.
Look who weighed in.
Who are actors, who are athletes that have tried to make it and don't. Like, so Peyton Manning, he just nails it, right? Like there's so many actors or athletes that try to be funny in commercials and it's like, this was not good.
Yeah, Peyton and Eli have done a pretty darn good job at that.
Although I think Peyton's way better than Eli. Like Eli still comes across as Eli to me.
Eli's stiff as a board. Love him.
Yeah. But Shaq. Shaq is one.
Shaq's second act has been absurd. He is involved in so many different ventures.
Yeah.
But
I will say I could like Lamar in like a tough role. Like I'm here for it. Let's do it.
First of many, possibly. So that just came out, which brings us to the good news that Eric DaCosta got. Josh Jones, of course, was one of the. Oh, wait a second. Breaking news, non-Ravens related, but it is AFC North related. Okay. Jerry Dulac, who's been on the Pittsburgh side of things for a while now.
Yeah.
In the beat community there. Aaron Rodgers is at the Steelers facility today. An indication a deal with the team could be forthcoming, according to his sources. So Aaron Rodgers is at Steelers facilities.
Okay, well, it is at this point in time that I would like to use Lamar Jackson's LeBron James gif.
Nice.
I'm not scared of Aaron Rodgers, just not scared.
Nice. Time will tell. We'll see if a deal gets done.
Time will tell.
But back to the compensatory side of things and what Eric DaCosta found out this week. Josh Jones was one of the departures, reserve offensive lineman. Got a $4 million deal to go to Seattle. And as Nick Cordy writes here, that qualifies as a compensatory free agent. So it adds a 7th round 2026 pick on the board for the Ravens. And EDC somewhere smiling, grinning ear to ear for this one.
Oh, this is like one of those pieces of news that fans are like, oh, okay, whatever. 7th round.
Yeah.
7th round in 2026. Yeah, EDC in his office. Yeah, baby. Watch what I do with this. This is like, it's like the classic, I've got a thimble and I'll trade up to get a Lamborghini or something. That's how his mind works. He's like, oh, just watch what I do with the 7th rounder.
he in the scouting department pumping their fists in the back somewhere, right? Oh, yeah. So somewhere that area scout, right? Let's go. I'm gonna go find ourselves a heck of a 7th rounder, day 3 pick, right? We're gonna go find our future undrafted rookie, you name it. Okay, what else do we have here? A couple quick hits, and then of course we'll have a few minutes on the back end here of this show to get into the dating coach feedback that reached out completely unprompted. This was not something that I pursued. This was not something that I sought out. So we're getting to that in just a second. But number 99, who, of course, had a cryptic tweet 2 weeks ago now or so.
Time is like a blur to me now. It feels like longer than 2 weeks, but that means it probably was.
I was in St. Pete. I know that. So it was probably about 2 weeks ago. And Odafe was essentially, gosh, what did the tweet say again? Do you remember?
Tweet or Instagram post?
Well, I see the cryptic post that we're referencing.
Oh, back in the day, he just had a peace sign was one of them.
And then he went and followed that up. And maybe while you pull that up,
pull it
obviously what you're seeing here on the screen is a yoked offseason Odafe Oweh. The dude's been a physical specimen since the moment they drafted him out of Penn State, and he's looking like he's in the best shape of his dang life.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So after the peace sign, it was, man, I hope not, but God's plan always wins.
Yeah, okay. That's right.
So
Leading you to believe.
It was his first 2 tweets since 2022.
Right. He does not use the app. Leading you to believe in the middle of contract season, extension season, talks, so on and so forth, that perhaps he was presented something not exactly to his liking, but that's just speculation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like to see him all in the gym. This is that time of the year where we get lots of gym, Instagram videos and photos, all that kind of stuff. So
He'll be playing on that 5th-year option, as we all know, that they exercised last year coming up this season.
We're just waiting for that one with DeAndre and Lamar. That's what we're waiting on.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You know we're going to be building an entire show around that.
Probably happen in June, something like that.